I think the first thing you got to do is find some time in your own day. And I think that kind of Google 80/20 rule probably works here. I think you've got to figure out how do you run your business, your team, your set of tasks and responsibilities in 80% of your week or something like that. And actually carve out real time to think about this and frankly, turn on your strategic chops, which I think is probably atrophied for a lot of people. This is something we don't probably talk enough about. But to effect this transformation that you just described, Henrik, it's not easy and it takes quite a bit of thinking and figuring out, what should we do? And yeah, you can go hire McKinsey, I guess, but I'd rather you don't do that.
Can I
Yeah,
say one thing there? I don't want to slow your roll and I don't want to detract,
that's all
but I
right.
just want to interject here that I think maybe what we have to do is specify before we experience the gains that that's how we're going to use the found time. Because there's this thing, I don't know if you're familiar with, I'm somewhat obsessed with it recently, called Parkinson's Law, which is the phenomenon that work will expand or contract to fill the time we give it. And the challenge with productivity gains is if there's not something new to fill the gain time, the work just keeps expanding, right? And so I think perhaps, I mean, it's one thing. I love what you said about a leader's responsibility to say what's new, but part of the challenge, as you're mentioning, is they can't think of what's new. So therefore, they have to carve out the time. And it strikes me that one of the most wonderful and inspiring ways to redeploy the time that we've now gained through efficiency, or the promise of time gained, is to create the space that we've been saying we don't have. We don't have time to think strategically. It's like, so what does that mean practically? Block the 2-day offsite, block the hackathon, like
Right.
pre-block before your team gains the productivity, before they get their 20% back. Say preemptively, it's not, you're not walking your dog. We're in La Jolla together as a team,
Right.
right?
Sure.
You
Yeah.
don't block that yoga class because we've got the weekly brainstorming session, right? But you have to. So I think wield the calendar as a weapon.
Yeah.
That's my thought.
Yeah. No, I love it. We all see it for ourselves, right? I mean, I've got focus sprints blocked on my calendar each week. They always end up being Slack and email time. It's so hard to protect your calendar, to your point, Jeremy.